Hi friends, this is Madhukar again. Continuing on with our video lecture on computing the characteristic function CF. So today now we shall consider another problem based on the computation of the CF of a Bernoulli discrete distribution. Bernoulli discrete distribution is one of the most basic distributions. The binomial distribution is an extension of Bernoulli distribution basically. Right, it's one of the elementary discrete distributions based on which all other high-end discrete distributions are based on. So we shall solve this problem in order to compute the CF of the sum. The problem statement goes like this: the Bernoulli random experiment produces two mutually exclusive events A and A bar with probabilities P and Q respectively. Let the number of occurrences of A are counted with respect to random variable X. So X of A is equal to 1, X of A bar is equal to 0. So determine the PMF, the characteristic function, mean value and mean squared value of X. It's a very simple problem, but how we organize the problem based upon the given data is the main thing that we need to emphasize. So here we know that the PMF discrete distribution means it's a discrete X is a discrete random variable. It's a finite discrete random variable because there are only two events A and B. The probability of occurrence of event A is given to be probability P. The probability of occurrence of event A bar is given as Q. This is as given in the data itself. And he is going to consider the number of occurrences of A with respect to the random variable X. So that's why he tells that X of A is equal to 1 and X of A bar is equal to 0. So we know by definition of the PMF, we know that Px of xk is equal to probability of x is equal to xk. So this P should be probability. So Px of xk, this is the PMF. So that is equal to P of x is equal to xk. So by data, the number of occurrences of A are counted with random variable x. So that's why I choose like this. The probability of A is nothing but the probability of occurrences of A. So he has also given that x of A is equal to 1. So that's why I take probability of A which is equal to P, which I have written here, which I have written here like this. That is corresponding to the number of occurrences of A which is given as x of A is equal to 1. So that's why I write like this. Probability of A is equal to P as given in the problem here, and also probability of x is equal to 1 with respect to the number of occurrences of A, which is equal to probability of x is equal to 1 because x of A is equal to 1, and that is what I am going to write as Px of x1. Here we should be a little bit careful while writing the data judiciously. Normally confusion arises here. So here we should be careful. What data has been given, that should be put in mathematical terms in an appropriate way. So P of A is equal to P he has already given. Then apart from that, the number of occurrences of A are counted with random variable x with x of A is equal to 1. So x of A is equal to 1 means it is P of A equal to P of A is equal to P for x is equal to 1 because x is dependent on A. Okay, and that is P of x is equal to 1, probability of x is equal to 1, so which is nothing but my PMF Px of x1. So if this is the case, then it's Px of x0 is the probability of occurrence of A bar whose probability is Q. So P of A bar is equal to Q. So if 1 is there means x of A bar is equal to 0, he has given in the problem. So that's why I write P of A bar is equal to Q, which is nothing but probability of x is equal to 0. So what is that? X is equal to 0. So that I take it to be Px of x0. Px of x0. So here probability of x is equal to 0 corresponds to the count where A bar x of A bar is equal to 0. So that's why P of A bar is equal to Q. So since it is equal to 0, that I understand, I give it as P of x is equal to 0. Probability of x is equal to 0, which is nothing but by Px of x0. So this is how we write the data based upon the given problem statement. Now recall from our earlier distribution discussion that it is possible for us to write the PDF for a PMF as a weighted sum of unit impulse functions, and it is possible for us to write a CDF as a weighted sum of unit step functions. CDF can be written as a weighted sum of unit step functions. The PDF for the PMF can be written as the weighted sum of unit impulse functions. So I am using this concept. I am using this equation 1.7.4 here for writing and solving this problem. It's a very, very simple problem, but how we organize the problem based upon the given data is what that is more important here. So that's why there are only two events here. So that's why A and B, and that they correspond to x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. So I write fx of x is equal to px of x naught delta of x plus px of x1 into delta of x minus 1. Okay, I write px of x naught into delta of x plus px of x1 into delta of x minus 1. Strictly speaking, this should be px of x naught into delta of x minus x naught. X naught is equal to 0 here, right? X naught is equal to 0. So delta of x minus x naught is delta of x minus 0. So delta of x minus 0 is delta of x. So directly we have written delta of x here. Px of x naught we have it equal to q, which I am going to substitute in the next step. Then plus px of x1 into delta of x minus 1. Delta of x minus 1. So write the probabilities. So that is equal to q delta of x. Px of x naught has been written as q. So q delta of x plus p delta of x minus 1. Now there are two methods to solve this problem. As I told, it's a discrete distribution. So I can use the CF definition for a discrete random variable, which also gives me the same answer. But here we can also use the definition of the continuous random variable and use the shifting property of the unit impulse function in order to evaluate the CF. But the final answer would be that of a Bernoulli discrete distribution only. There is no doubt in that. So use the definition of the CF. So phi x of j omega equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity fx of x e to the power of j omega x dx. Substitute the value of fx of x here. So that is given by integral minus infinity to plus infinity q delta of x plus p delta of x minus 1 into e to the power of j omega x dx. Now split this into sum of two integrals. So I have integral minus infinity to plus infinity q delta of x e to the power of j omega x dx plus integral minus infinity to plus infinity p delta of x minus 1 into e to the power of j omega x dx. Now I use the shifting property of the unit impulse function. It states that integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t into delta of t minus t naught is dt is equal to x of t naught. That is the impulse function. That is the signal or a function when it is multiplied by a shifted unit impulse function, and when it is integrated from minus infinity to plus infinity, then that integral reduces to the function x of t evaluated at t is equal to t naught or evaluated at t naught. So that is what is x of t naught. So this delta of x can be written as delta of x minus 0. So this can be as if treated as integral minus infinity to plus infinity q delta of x e to the power of j omega x dx. So q is a constant. I can pull it outside. So this can be written as q integral minus infinity to plus infinity delta of x e to the power of j omega x dx. Now how to evaluate this? Delta of x can be written as delta of x minus 0. So that's why here t naught can be taken as 0. T naught can be taken as 0. So this becomes e to the power of j omega x evaluated at x is equal to 0. This becomes q e to the power of j omega x evaluated at x is equal to 0 plus. Now what about this second integral? P is a constant, pull it outside the integral. So this becomes p integral minus infinity to plus infinity delta of x minus 1 exponent j omega x dx. So this becomes p into e to the power of j omega x evaluated at t is equal to t naught or x is equal to x naught, namely x is equal to 1. So this is e to the power of j omega x evaluated at x is equal to 0 multiplied by q. This is e to the power of j omega x evaluated at x is equal to 1 then multiplied by p. Okay, this you would have done in signals and systems. That's what I am doing here. Okay, now this becomes q into e to the power of j omega x evaluated at x is equal to 0. This becomes plus p into e to the power of j omega x evaluated at x is equal to 1. So substitute x is equal to 0 in the first integral, first part. Put x is equal to 1 in the second part. So this becomes q e to the power of j omega 0 plus p e to the power of j omega 1 or q plus p e to the power of j omega. So this is the CF of the Bernoulli distribution. Now I have to find the mean and the mean squared value. So we know the basic formula that we had mentioned in the first video. Moment about origin using CF. So if I differentiate the characteristic function definition n times with respect to j omega, please note j omega, then I get the nth derivative of phi x of j omega with respect to j omega is simply given by integral minus infinity to plus infinity x to the power of n fx of x e to the power of j omega x dx. So this evaluates to be, it's a very lengthy derivation. So this evaluates to expected value of x to the power of n, which is equal to the nth derivative of phi x of j omega at omega is equal to 0. So I can put here n is a positive integer, n can never be a negative integer because differentiation is done. Successive differentiation means it corresponds to integers. It cannot correspond to negative differentiation, right? Only positive differentiation exists in the mathematical literature. So if I put n is equal to 1, I get e of x is equal to d by dj omega phi x of j omega at omega is equal to 0. Mu e of x is nothing but by mean mu x. Then if I again I have differentiated first time, so I have obtained d by dj omega of phi x of j omega. Now again differentiate this d by dj omega phi x of j omega with respect to j omega. Then I get the second derivative d squared by dj omega squared of phi x of j omega. So now substitute omega 0 in the second derivative expression. I get e of x squared. That would be my mean squared value. So similarly, I can substitute. I can go on and doing differentiating repeatedly, and I shall be getting the higher order moments. If I differentiate thrice and equate omega is equal to 0, then I get e of x cubed, which gives me skewness. If I differentiate 4 times with respect to j omega and equate it the corresponding result to 0, then I get e of x to the power of 4 corresponding to kurtosis. So on and so forth, I can get higher order moments. So here I shall be putting n is equal to 1 and n is equal to 2 after differentiating once and twice and then getting the result. So this formula is exclusively used in computing the mean and mean squared value of the Bernoulli distribution. So that's what I am doing here. So d by dj omega phi x of j omega. So I am differentiating the CF for the first time. So please note I am differentiating with respect to j omega. There are 2 methods of doing it, but I shall only stick on to one method. Let us not think about multiple methods and land ourselves in a quandary. We shall stick on to one method and then follow this and get the answer accurately. So let me differentiate phi x of j omega, the CF, with respect to j omega. So if I differentiate it, treat j omega as an entity. For simplicity purpose, put j omega is equal to x. Let me assume j omega is equal to x. Now d by dx of q plus p e to the power of x I get. If I assume j omega is equal to x. Now derivative of q is 0 because q is a constant. So derivative of a constant is 0. So that's over now. Plus p into d by dx of e to the power of x. D by dx of e to the power of x is e to the power of x itself. So that's why I get 0 plus p e to the power of x only. Now put x is equal to j omega back. So I get p e to the power of j omega. Now in the end, now you put omega is equal to 0 in the expression for the first derivative. That is in this expression, put omega is equal to 0. So I get e of x is equal to d by dj omega phi x of j omega at omega is equal to 0, which is equal to p into e to the power of j omega at omega is equal to 0. I am just substituting omega is equal to 0 in this first order derivative, that's all. So I get p e to the power of 0, exponent 0 is 1. So I get p into 1 equal to p, that's all. Now I have obtained the first order derivative of the CF with respect to j omega. Now again differentiate differentiate phi x of differentiate d by dj omega phi x of j omega with respect to j omega again. First order derivative ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಡೆರಿವೇಟಿವ್ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಡೆರಿವೇಟಿವ್ ತಿರುಗಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ತಾನೇ ನಮಗೆ ಬರೋದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಡೆರಿವೇಟಿವ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅಗೈನ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ the first order derivative d by dj omega phi x of j omega with respect to j omega. So I get d squared by d of j omega the whole squared of phi x of j omega. So if I differentiate this with respect to j omega, again treat j omega to be equal to x for simplicity. So this would be p into d by dx of exponent x. D by dx of exponent x is exponent x. So that's why I get p into e to the power of x. So p e to the power of x, again put x is equal to j omega. Okay, now I have to find the mean squared value. Mean squared value is e of x squared, nothing else. So e of x squared is equal to is obtained by substituting omega is equal to 0 into the second derivative expression. So put omega is equal to 0. So I get p e to the power of 0 equal to p exponent 0 which is equal to P into 1 equal to P. So this completes the solution of the problem. If I want to find the variance of a Bernoulli distribution is 0. How to do it? Where variance of x, sigma x squared, is equal to E of x squared minus mean the whole squared. So E of x squared I have already calculated to be equal to P. Okay, no, it is okay. So let us do the calculation of the variance. I told the variance is 0, but let us verify whether variance is 0 or variance is non-zero. Okay, let me try to verify our claim. Okay, so let me do it here. So variance this is simply given by this may be equal to 0 or a non-zero value. So let us verify. Let us check whether our claim is correct or not. Why not? Because for practical cases, we do find the variance of a Bernoulli distribution. So E of x squared is simply given by P. I think it is not equal to 0. It should be equal to some other quantity. So P minus E mean the whole squared, right? So P squared. So now let me take P common factor. So P into 1 minus P. Now this is 1 minus P is equal to Q. So the variance of a Bernoulli distribution is not equal to 0. It is equal to PQ. So which defeats our claim. So we can infer that. We can conclude that the variance of a Bernoulli distribution is equal to PQ. It is non-zero. Okay, very important result. Okay, P minus P squared. I have taken P common. So P into 1 minus P. Where so that 1 minus P is equal to Q. That's another important statement that we need to make here. The sum of these two probabilities should be equal to 1, right? So you may ask, sir, how is Q is equal to 1 minus P? You may ask. The answer is this. Let me write it. The sum of PMF is equal to 1, no? Summation of for all K. Px of xk is equal to 1. Summation over all K. Px of xk is equal to 1. Now, Px of x naught plus Px of x1 should be equal to 1, no? So Px of x1 plus Px of x1 is equal to 1. Please note, I am writing this using mouse. So it's very difficult to write mathematical expressions using mouse. Okay, this is Px of x naught. Let me write it properly. Let me write it. This is Px of x naught plus Px of x1 is equal to 1. Now this gives me P plus Q is equal to 1 or Q is equal to 1 minus P. Or I can also write it as P is equal to 1 minus Q also. So this value I have substituted here. P minus P squared I get. So P, if I take common, I get P into 1 minus P, which is equal to PQ. So that's why this P is equal to 1 minus Q I have made. By rule of probability, P plus Q, the summation of over K for Px of xk should be equal to 1. So here Px of x naught plus Px of x1 should be equal to 1, which implies P plus Q is equal to 1, because Px of x naught is equal to Q and Px of x1 is equal to P. So P plus Q or Q plus P, both are same, right? P plus Q is equal to Q plus P, right? So I should write Q plus P is equal to 1, or P plus Q is equal to 1 I can write. So Q is equal to 1 minus P or P is equal to 1 minus Q. So here in the computation of variance, I substitute Q is equal to 1 minus P, which gives me PQ. Okay, this completes the solution of the problem. Thank you very much.